Your fuel economy has dropped. Your engine hesitates on acceleration. And no matter how many times you reset it, that check engine light keeps coming back. Then the dealership quotes you $400 for a new mass airflow sensor. Here's what they don't tell you. In 80% of cases, the sensor isn't broken. It's dirty. And the way most mechanics clean it, when they bother at all, permanently damages the very component they're trying to fix. In this video, I'll show you 10 critical steps to clean your MAF sensor the Japanese way. You can do it completely at home for less than $12. And don't miss step 7. It's a technique that goes against everything taught in automotive training programs. And it's the reason Japanese engines run clean at 200,000 miles. Number 1, understand what you're actually dealing with. Here's what 90% of car owners never learn. The MAF sensor doesn't measure air. It measures the temperature change caused by air moving past a microscopically thin wire, sometimes as thin as a human hair. That wire is called the hot wire element, and it is the most delicate component in your entire fuel system. I've watched experienced mechanics grab a rag and wipe a MAF sensor like it's a kitchen counter. That single motion can bend or contaminate the hot wire element. The sensor fails. The car goes into limp mode. A technician in Nagoya showed me 2 MAF sensors under magnification. One had been wiped. One had been cleaned chemically. The wiped sensor had fibers across the element. It was already dead. The owner just didn't know it yet. But even with this knowledge, using the wrong product will end this job before it starts. Number 2, use only dedicated MAF sensor cleaner. Walk into any auto parts store, and the guy behind the counter will hand you brake cleaner or electrical contact spray. Walk away. Brake cleaner leaves a residue that alters the thermal properties of the hot wire. The readings become permanently inaccurate. The engine management system starts compensating and never stops. Japanese technicians use only dedicated MAF sensor cleaner. The chemistry is specifically engineered to evaporate completely and leave zero residue on a surface measured in microns. The cost difference between the wrong product and the right one? About $3. The cost difference to your engine? Potentially your entire fuel system. Number 3, never touch the sensor element. This rule seems obvious. It isn't, because not touching doesn't just mean with your hands. It means no cotton swabs, no soft claws, no compressed air blasted directly at the wire. Nothing. A master technician in Osaka explained it to me this way. The hot wire operates at over 1,000 degrees during use. Any fiber, any oil from your skin, it burns on. It becomes permanent. I learned this on my own vehicle. A cotton swab left fibers I couldn't see. My fuel trim stayed off for 3 months before I replaced the sensor. The Japanese method uses spray only. Your hands stay completely clear. Number 4, remove the sensor before cleaning. Unlike some components, the MAF sensor must come out for a proper clean. When installed, you cannot control where the cleaner goes. Overspray reaches connectors and wiring harnesses. More critically, you cannot control the spray angle relative to the hot wire element. Precision is everything. Removal gives you that precision. The process takes 4 minutes with a standard torque screwdriver. The damage always happens during cleaning, and always because someone skipped this step. Number 5, spray in short bursts only. You've made it to the halfway point, and this is where the results are actually won or lost. Most people spray like they're washing a windshield. Long, continuous streams. That is exactly wrong. The Japanese method uses short, controlled bursts of 1 to 2 seconds from a distance of exactly 2 to 4 inches. Continuous spray creates hydraulic pressure against the hot wire, pressure that a wire thinner than a human hair cannot withstand. A colleague outside Kyoto told me he can look at a MAF sensor and tell immediately whether it was cleaned with bursts or streams. The damaged ones always show micro-deflection on the wire. You can't see it without magnification, but the ECU can feel it in fuel trim errors that never fully resolve. Number 6, allow 10 minutes to air dry. Completely the single most common mistake, even from people who did everything else right. They reinstall the sensor while it's still damp. Residual solvent on the hot wire element, when that wire heats to operating temperature, causes a contamination event. Sometimes it clears, sometimes it doesn't. Japanese technicians set the sensor horizontal, element facing up, and wait a minimum of 10 minutes. No heat gun, no compressed air, no shaking. Patience here costs nothing. Impatience can cost you the sensor. Number 7. Inspect the intake boot for cracks. This is the step no training manual covers, and where I've seen more repeat failures than anywhere else. A perfectly clean MAF sensor installed into a cracked intake boot is already failing. If unmetered air bypasses the sensor through a hairline crack, the reading is permanently wrong. Your ECU adjusts fuel delivery based on false data, and your freshly cleaned sensor reads as faulty on diagnostic equipment. I found a crack on a 2014 Camry with 90,000 miles. Invisible unless you flex the boot by hand. The owner had cleaned his MAF sensor twice in 8 months with no improvement. New boot, $22. Result, fuel economy went from 24 miles per gallon to 31. Inspect the boot every single time. Number 8, clean the housing, not just the element. Here's the technique even veteran mechanics skip, because it goes against the instinct to protect the sensor at all costs. Most people clean the element and reinstall immediately. Japanese technicians clean the entire interior of the MAF housing as well. A clean wire inside a contaminated housing will recontaminate within weeks. The method: 2 short bursts into the housing interior, tilt to drain, allow to evaporate fully. Never touch the interior physically. A senior technician at Toyota's Aichi facility told me this step alone extended cleaning intervals from 3 months to over a year on high-mileage fleet vehicles. Number 9. Check the connector pins before reinstalling. Corroded or contaminated pins produce signal errors that look exactly like a dirty or failing sensor. I've seen techs clean a MAF sensor perfectly, then plug it back into a corroded connector and wonder why the codes return. Before reinstalling, inspect the pins visually. Look for green oxidation, black deposits, or bent contacts. A small amount of electrical contact cleaner, not MAF cleaner, sprayed into the connector and allowed to dry solves 90% of pin issues. The product costs $6. Ignoring it costs you a sensor replacement that was never needed. Number 10. Run and idle relearn after reinstalling. This final step is why so many MAF cleanings fail within a month. When your sensor has been dirty for an extended period, your ECU has been compensating with incorrect fuel trim adjustments. Reinstalling a clean sensor doesn't automatically erase that library. Start the engine cold. Let it idle, without touching the accelerator, for exactly 10 minutes. Then drive gently for 15 minutes, staying below 3,000 RPM. During this time, the ECU resamples incoming MAF data and rebuilds its fuel trim calculations from accurate readings. I've seen people skip this and report no improvement after a perfect cleaning. The sensor was fine. The ECU was still compensating for a dirty sensor that no longer existed. The relearn sequence costs you 25 minutes. Skipping it can cost you months of poor fuel economy and a misdiagnosed sensor replacement. Do the relearn every time.